Hey guys, welcome to Precious Cargo. I'm Precious, and as part of our continuation of manifestation episodes, today I have with me an old friend, Zeke. Hi, Zeke.
Going on, perfect.
Hey. So I'm actually going to let you introduce yourself to the audience because I do not want to butcher all of your credentials.
For sure. So yeah, again, I'm Zeke Andrews, licensed professional counselor. I'm a master addiction counselor, a certified addiction counselor level 2. I'm a clinical and medical hypnotherapist, as well as a Reiki master. So, yeah,
That is so incredible.
I
That's
appreciate that.
honestly I love that. And I love like your entrepreneurship in the spiritual realm too. Like it's really difficult like as a spiritual teacher to be able to get clients really. And you've found a way to like master that. So hats off to you. That's awesome.
Hey, I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
How did you like get into this? What was your major when you were at Carson Newman?
So originally, my major was football. That was originally my major, but I fell in love with psychology, so I majored in psychology. Like again, from the beginning, my mindset was just really just focused on football, but I always loved science. Like ever since
mm,
I was a young boy in school, like science was the thing that I loved. And when I got a carcinoma, I got my first class in psychology, like behavior modification, and yeah, I mean, I'm also a family man too.
I love that. I literally had to get my cousin in here to help with the audio earlier, so I get it.
I don't like the
Well, okay, so we went to college together.
yeah.
We majored in partying while you were actually going to class. I
What you
was
mean? I
not.
was partying with you too. I was there with you at those parties. Come on. I know
Gosh.
you really because we never had any classes together, and I hardly ever seen you on campus. But it
Yeah,
was
because I
party.
never went to class.
I can't believe that.
Gosh.
It's so
No,
opposite.
honestly, yeah, yeah. And now I'm like doing all of this studying and like writing and like really getting like a hold of my life. So, I mean, it just took me a couple of years to figure it out. That's all.
For sure. I ain't nobody tripping on that.
So, how did you get into Reiki?
So I got a funny story that goes along with that. It was like back in 2015, my mother called me up. She was like, "Look, I got this book in the mail." She was just like, "It's from the devil," and she was like, "I need you to come get it." Right. So I go to her and I get the book, and it's Healing Hands. Matter of fact, I got a book on my bookshelf. I'll grab it in a minute. But that particular book showed me a whole lot of the Reiki processing. And in 2018, I actually studied up under Deidre Wooten. I studied up under her and got certified in it. But Reiki being just like I said, it's been with me. And this after
Yeah.
the doors of hypnosis. Hypnosis
Okay.
was really catapulted me into a lot of scientific spiritual realm,
Mm-hmm.
into the spiritual science.
What is like, how do you even perform like a hypnosis session? Like, what does that entail? I'm so like interested in this.
Hypnosis is a skill. You feel what I'm saying? Like it is all about knowing the science. When I went
Mm,
to hypnotherapy for my first training, the first day I learned how to do hypnosis in 5 minutes.
okay.
When hypnosis is more so with it deals with how you use your vernacular. But at the same time, you still need the proper setting. You need the proper lighting. You need the proper environment. Like you want the sound to be condensed, and you yourself has to be a vessel to facilitate. It really works off the imagination of the hypnotist. However deep I think
Mm,
that you'll
mm-hmm.
go that deep. So you got to have a
Mm,
whole lot of confidence.
yeah.
The great thing about the science is that humans normally in a trance 80 to 85% of the day. So you can catch a person in trance, and once you catch them in trance, you then can facilitate hypnosis. One of the rules of the subconscious mind is that once one suggestion is accepted, the next one is more readily acceptable.
Mm.
Yeah,
So what do you mean by we're in a trance for most of the day? Like we're like daydreaming or like we're just like
exactly.
there? Okay. Okay, that
Daydreaming.
makes sense.
Why we find ourselves into our subconscious a lot. Anytime you go to remember something, you got to go into your subconscious. Anytime you watch the movie, you're in that deep trance. That's
Mhm.
sort of hypnosis. Even when you're driving in your car and you're not even
Mm.
thinking about where you're going or whatnot, that's hypnosis. That's a trance.
Wow.
So I can get
So
right. I'm
you're in
sorry.
the South too. Do you ever get like a lot of people who are more religious and they're just like, "No, I can't do this because of like my religion or whatever?"
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And I'm from Dodge County, which is a very small town in like central Georgia, and
Mm.
just shy of the South, but central Georgia. And when I first was there, I had to leave because I was afraid they thought I was doing witchcraft.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I learned just being up here in Atlanta how to
Mhm.
do it covertly. So I can do eyes open, eyes closed. But yeah, I do run in a lot with people, religious beliefs, stopping them. But with me studying Reiki, I can move around, because Reiki uses a universal sense of whoever you believe in and go forward like that.
Mm. That's so I know with me because I use the Akashic records, like I run into that a lot. Like people have no actual idea of what it is and they just automatically, especially here like in Tennessee, they just automatically assume that I'm doing some sort of like witchcraft or some sort of something that they just can't comprehend, so they just wanna throw, like, an evil title onto it, so
Right.
and I'm doing things mainly with, like, international people because of that. I have a few clients in the States, but mostly international because they're just a lot more like, I've noticed that people internationally are a lot more open to
Mm.
different spiritual modalities than a lot of people here, and I don't know if it's more of, like, a conditioning or just, like, how we're raised, and I feel like a lot of the times too, like, the concept of something new is what's more challenging for someone to accept than the actual practice itself.
Now I can dig all that you're saying, but the ways that I really that I get around it is allowing them to go where they want to go. Now reading with the
Mm,
constant workers, like first off, that's fine. Like it ain't too many people that do that. I still want to know
mhm.
what made you hop into that arena. Like how did that come to you?
Get into the Akashic records?
Yeah, how you find this spiritual path?
Thank you for asking. I don't think anyone's ever asked me that. So, they say that the Akashic records find you, you don't find them. So, after my divorce, I went through a lot of, like, soul searching, which is so funny to say because we're not a human having a soul experience, we're a soul having a human experience.
Right.
But during my searching or seeking, I have always had these like visions and prophecies, and my mom the same, and my grandparents the same. We grew up on, or they grew up on, an ancestral land,
Mm.
like in deep South Georgia in Oglethorpe. And so,
Where?
when yeah, yeah,
Oglethorpe, Georgia.
yeah,
Wow. Okay.
yeah. So, when you have that kind of background, it's slavery ancestry and you're very connected to the land in that way, there are you are more of a channel than you realized. And the hardest part for me was turning it on and off.
Mm.
My mom would get dreams about like people passing away, for example, years, months before it would actually happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that happened to me one time, and then I woke up screaming, and I just yelled, "Never again." But since then, like, I would have dreams about stuff that would happen or see something, and then I knew I had to create it, like, in a dream because I had that dream, I knew it had to happen, and I needed a way to turn it on and off. Initially, I thought I wanted to go into mediumship, but no, not for me. So, that's how I found the Akashic Records. I was actually doing a, spiritual summit, and they had different spiritual teachers in there, and I found my guide. So, yeah,
Well,
that's how I got into it.
I think it's very important to mention that we come from a Christian college.
Yes, yes.
So the spiritual summit, like, what's the spiritual summit?
During that spiritual summit, I think there was like an astrologer or a couple of astrologers. There was a Reiki master, Swara, who was my Akashic Records mentor. She's also a Reiki master. She was the one who actually put on the summit. There were a bunch of I have writer's brain, so I really can't remember all the people. There were like 14 different speakers, and each of them specialized in something in like the spiritual realm. And I just so happened to gravitate towards the Akashic Records. No, I loved it. So, whenever you said earlier that when you were doing like hypnotism that you were more of a channel, how do you turn your channel on and off?
Like, that's it's been a process of me learning. From the
Mhm.
beginning, I used to use a whole lot of sex.
Okay.
I use sex.
Like to receive the information?
Now, when I wanted to cut it off, like before I recognized that I had
Oh,
gifts,
yeah.
right? For me to turn it off, sometimes I would smoke. I would
Mhm.
smoke weed because like it would seem like reality wasn't real at times.
Right.
So when I smoke, all that would subside, and
Mhm.
so after that stopped or whatnot, when I really can't control it, then I channeled them a lot
Mhm.
into the sex, a lot of trying to find like a certain sense of groundment through intimacy, something to
Right.
ground me in this reality. But then later on, I began to do like self meditation, like on bathtub or since I'm from the country, I used to love being in the woods, so I used to just take long runs in
Mm.
the woods, and then things began to settle down for me, and I began to understand. Also, though, too, I went through a couple different sicknesses just
Oh,
working with
okay.
clients, and I had to learn how to,
Yes.
balance the energy. And with me balancing energy, that is me cutting it off or cutting on. To be honest, I really don't
Mhm.
cut it off no more. It's just
You just let
on.
it flow?
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Because as you mentioned
Were
earlier,
you Yeah. No, go
like
ahead.
you said, it's the soul experience in life. So with that
Mhm.
philosophy, with that same philosophy, I understand that this experience is an illusion and such. So I just run with it.
Mm. Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah, I feel that. I know, like, the turning it off and on was so until I started working in the Akashic Records, I felt like I was losing my mind.
we-
And they say that whenever you and, it had been happening to me my whole life, but it wasn't until I was probably around 30 where it really started to, like, take over, and I think it was because I was, like, out of my marriage, I didn't have any distractions, it was literally just me, and everyone was able to reach me a lot easier, and I was just like, "I'm sorry, what's happening right now?" Like, and then you feel like you're going crazy a little bit.
yeah,
And so then I just started seeking for answers, like, I was just looking everywhere for answers, like, and I had, recently stopped drinking, so I, like, really had no escape, like, it was just me and the information, and it was very overwhelming.
man, it really is. It really is
Mhm.
to a point to where that I just find myself like sleep sometimes, and in those sleep
Yeah.
I have those visions and those dreams, and it then start to make sense. I can relate to that.
Yeah, yeah, I love receiving information in my sleep. I feel like that's, like, the best way for me because then I'm not, like, overthinking it too, and I can just wake up, write it down, figure out what I need to figure out from it, and keep it moving.
You very disciplined. I haven't disciplined my dream journals yet. Some of them I might write down. Some of them I just keep it pushing. You very disciplined.
am big on, like, keeping journals for everything because you never know when you're gonna be able to need to go back and reference something. So, for example, I had a dream that I was taking care of a turtle. I had the dream 2 nights in a row. I was taking care of this turtle. It didn't make any sense to me. It made absolutely no sense to me. And then I was at a sound bath, and there was only 5 people in my sound bath that day. And literally, and I actually have it, all of us, we were asleep during our sound bath, and she placed these green turtles on us, and I was just like, "Oh, so it's this cute little jade turtle." Like, it was like, and it's just, like, little things, and so now anytime, like, I do anything, like, spiritual or have, like, a reading, I always have my little green jade turtle because he wanted to help me with it, whatever I needed help with, so
Wow.
it's just
So how that make sense to you for you to dream about the turtle 2 days and turn around and pop up?
it happens with everything, like, everything, all the time. People, events, everything. So, it's so funny actually, so all of my dreams come true, and that's just what it is, and a mutual friend of ours, I had a dream every time I have a dream about him, he's buying me something, and so, like, every time it happens, I'll tell him, I'm just like, "Hey, so I had a dream that you took me to Prada, and we got this dress." And I'm just like, "And just so you know, all my dreams come true, so hurry up."
It's only right that you talk about manifest.
I'm telling you, I'm just like, "Hello,
As
make it
long
happen, this is crazy. Like, where's my dress?"
you come off like that. You come off like that though. You seem like you get what you want.
I do. And, you know, I told you I was writing a book or that I wrote a book, right? And in it, I literally say 100 times, like, everything always works out for me and I always get what I want. And I'm a firm believer in words, and
Mhm.
literally everything always works out for me and I always get what I want. It doesn't matter what it is.
See, you doing hypnosis on yourself right now, but you don't know you're doing it. Right.
Well, I'm reprogramming my subconscious mind, huh?
Yep. That's actually what
Wow.
you're doing. You're taking your own suggestions. And once you imprint on the
Wow.
subconscious mind, then reality has no choice but to reflect just what you believe.
I love that.
And
So that's like why affirmation statements are powerful too, then, huh?
but you gotta say them in your subconscious. If you say it in your conscious mind, they're not gonna work. You gotta be in
Mm.
your subconscious mind believes it and receives it. But another
Mm.
part of that also what you have is magnetism. But they speak about it as it being
Mm.
animal magnetism, but it's this energy that comes from your aura, and that's a big thing in hypnosis is to have that magnetism. But that magnetism
So
also,
if
I'm sorry,
someone doesn't have it, how do they get it?
is that magnetism really comes from being grounded in your root chakra, but also being able to utilize the power of your sacral and express it into your solar plexus.
I love that. I love that. I love that. You know what I feel like has also really helped is, celibacy for me.
Talk more about that, please.
So
Please.
I have been able to I didn't realize how powerful I was for the
Mhm.
longest time. It took me 3 decades to realize how powerful I was.
Mm,
And I refuse to give my power away, especially when I am working on a project. I'm in the process of writing my second manuscript right now. So I have very much been focusing on my root, solar, and sacral chakras, like heavily, because your sacral chakra is your creation chakra. And instead of using that energy for anything else, I have been building it and using it for creativity and for my writing and for this podcast. And literally, like, I'm going to go on a book tour, like, just all these different things. And I have never in my life felt so powerful, but in a way that's, like, for the higher good of the
mm,
consciousness. Like, it's an indescribable feeling, honestly.
mm.
Mhm,
Sexual energy is spiritual energy.
mhm,
And
and
it's
creative energy.
right, right. Especially for the people that don't recognize that they have these powers. Like you said, it took you 3 decades. It probably took me around
Mhm,
that time too to really
yeah,
understand what was going on. And I can dig it. I can see how you use the spirit, that sexual energy or spiritual energy, and you put it inside of your other creative endeavors, and they manifest like that. I can
mhm,
dig it. I can dig it. But for so long though,
yeah,
I had to use the sexual energy in order to help me manifest. So
Mm,
for a while, I
interesting.
used sex
Yeah.
to help me. At one point in time, like I had to have like 3 women just to. I felt like I had to have 3 women just to have
Mm,
that creative power, just to be able to
yeah.
get what I have built now. So it's interesting.
Did you feel like during that time that you were harnessing their energy in conjunction with yours?
I had a hard time connecting with that, but at this point in time
Mm,
now, I would agree.
yeah. 'Cause, like, I noticed, like so with my ex-husband, for example, like, I noticed that during our marriage, like, I didn't have, like, a lot. Like, I felt like I was, like, losing myself, like, and I felt like I was losing money and I was losing, like, all of these things, and it just didn't make any sense, especially, like, when I am a higher earner and I have all these creative things, and, like, I felt like my health was declining, and, like, I felt like he was literally, like, taking the actual life out of me. Like, I felt like all of my energy and all of my power was just, like, fully depleted.
Mhm.
And I think that could be like, energy is big in all the work that we do,
Right.
and I really felt like he was, like, using me as, like, a suction so that he could have all of my energy.
That's probably exactly what it was, though.
Mhm.
That's
Like, it was
probably
like he was,
exactly
like,
what it was.
siphoning it.
Yeah. Or at the same time, though, you could just be could have been freely giving it away.
Yeah,
All at
no,
the same.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
I felt like some of those ties at the time was not taken away from me, but increasing me. A lot of time,
Mm,
whatever the physical, how the physical present, the spiritual is opposite. Like the penis goes out, right? The vagina goes in, right?
mhm.
So what happens is that the opposite would happen. So the woman would end
Mm,
up giving that energy to that man. You see what I'm
right,
saying?
okay.
Especially
Yeah.
especially if you more sexually potent or if you more spiritual. If you having sex with your partner and your partner goes to sleep right after that, you actually sex them into unconsciousness. You dig what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You was so powerful to where that they went to sleep. They couldn't take all their energy.
Interesting.
You dig what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
But the sex is supposed to actually energize you. It's supposed to bring you this creativity. So what happens is sometimes we end up receiving too much or giving too much during our sexual escapades.
Mhm.
That's the balance is not, ain't and that what happens. Like at this point in time in life, I don't really deal with good or bad or positive and negative. Things are only negative when you relate it to being something. Things are only bad or good when you relate it to it being. Until then,
Mhm.
it is what it is. Like we apply the charge that it is to life.
Right. Yeah. I love that. So, I don't know if you offer this to your other clients, but I actually had a reading from you. Do you offer that? Or is
No,
that just
it's like this. This is like the first time I ever like did any like speaking about how I practice. Like this is the first time. Like I don't
Oh,
usually let
wow.
nobody in nothing.
Yeah.
So with me saying that is that I live 2 lives. I live a life to where that I'm a professional.
Mhm.
Like some people don't even know that I'm a hypnotherapist.
Okay.
It's just depending on what the need is
Right.
or how the situation approaches itself. So I live. It's people that come to me spiritually aren't the same people that come to me professional for counseling. And it's just
Okay.
yeah. So they got an old word from it. Like again, our folk from the country. They from Georgia.
Yeah. Yeah.
So hoodoo is big, right? And they call folk like me two face.
Do you have your own practice or do you work with, like, colleagues?
No, so yeah, I do have my own practice where I practice privately, but I also work with a company though too.
Mhm.
For me being an LPC, right? I had to work
Mhm.
upon another LPC for like 5,000 hours or so, something like that.
Oh, okay.
No, it might have been 2,000 hours. So yeah, in order for me to get that. I did that. So I work.
Mm,
Oh, I work. I work upon a psychiatrist, and I
okay.
also do my thing privately.
Mhm.
Private still is different than the private that I might do when it comes to the spiritual work.
Right.
I don't really do a whole lot of readings for a lot of
Yeah.
individuals, but
Yeah.
I do a lot. I mean, I do Reiki.
Mhm.
I can say it on here. I guess I'm gonna be real. I do a lot of spells
Yeah.
for my folk. I got all type of stories I can tell you from the professional end to the what you call it, to the spiritual end. Like
Mhm.
I had I have had homeboys in jail get out of jail.
That's what
You
I'm
know
talking
what I'm
about.
saying? Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I love that. See, and that's what I think a lot of the times people they hear these words, they hear hoodoo and voodoo and spells, and they just automatically think we're trying to like kill somebody. Like, and it's like you know what I mean? Like, and it's just like, okay, like let's chill out for a second. But like the majority of the work is for the greater good.
right, right. What
And
they call good,
and yeah, yeah. I mean, the light, the whatever.
whatever the fuck is what I say.
Okay, so whenever you are doing, because I know I also participate in rituals. Um, I initially was having like a really difficult time getting my energy back. And I will tell you, I use salt every single day.
Mm,
I use salt every day to clear myself. I'll do especially after I have a session. I focus in the Akashic records on past lives. And so I will physically kind of become what that person was. I had a reading
I want to say
when I
what?
was first. Yeah, I specialize in past lives and business strategies.
And you said that you will become the person they were.
Like I'll physically
That's
like
fine.
I like during a reading, I literally am just like a complete open channel, and it was getting really difficult. Like sometimes like I'll have to take like a couple of months off. Like so for example, one time I had a reading with someone who was a murderer in their past life, and they couldn't understand why they felt so dark and so heavy, and I like channeled that energy, and it took me a full 2 weeks of like doing a full salt scrub, salt bath every single day. Like I could not get that energy out of me for a
Mm,
full 2 weeks. It was so intense.
that's amazing.
And like if someone has like a serious ailment, like I'll feel that, and in order for me to not take on the properties of that, I have to do a full clearing, like immediately after.
I get it. I get it, and I can relate. I can relate. But that's why I started wearing crystals, and I got
Mhm.
like different ornaments. I usually wear my eleka when I do practices. Now my situation,
Ooh, what is that?
the eleka are the orishas, or the seven African powers. They're like they're like bees or however with different colors that marks the significance of relation to the different orishas or deities. I get into that. That's the whole side when it comes back. But one
Okay,
particular,
okay.
I, I was working with this woman. She was the wife of some mob in New York. And when I was doing some energy clearing with her, I was right in front of her while she was clearing it out. I got
Wow.
sick 2 days right after that. Like she got the healing she needed, but I got
Yep,
sick 2 days.
yep.
That's when I recognized that I needed some type of level of defense.
Right,
And
right.
that was probably about 2018. So from there, yeah, I started to get more crystals. I started to get more informed about certain deities because I utilize deities too.
Mhm. I heavily rely on my ancestors for almost all of my work.
Mm,
Like every day. Like heavily. Like we're not going to work before we talk. Like I heavily rely on them. So really don't use like deities or anything, but I listen, me and my spirit team, we ride or die.
that's like, yeah, yeah. Like I fuck with it. Like
Mhm.
I get it. I get it. But yeah,
You know
like,
what I really like too? Did you listen to that Reincarnated song by Kendrick Lamar?
man, I don't really listen to circular music like that. But my homeboy was telling me to fuck with it. But
He he talks a lot about like he went through 3 or 4 of his different past lives, and I kind of wonder who, like, if it's him channeling himself or if he has someone that like tells him. I'm really curious because he talks like, and I started listening to some of his older music too, and he references Gabriel and Michael and like some of the other. Um,
He mentioned Metatron too.
yes, yes, yes,
And he mentioned somebody else too.
and like a lot of the archangels and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's the same time that I'm on. Like, no, I say deity, but they can be archangels in one particular
Mm-hmm.
religion. In another particular religion, they might be quote
Mm,
demiurges, or they may be
yeah.
demigods or things of such. But how
Yeah.
they come to me. So at this particular time, though, there is no such thing as initiation. If it come to you, then you initiate. Like how
Mm-hmm.
you went through yours, or how. So different deities, they will appear to me in my dreams, or they appear to me
Mm.
just through research, or however. And when they appear to me, I recognize them as them being another one of my past lives,
Yes.
ancestors.
What archangel do you connect to the most?
If I give it to you, you probably ain't gonna fuck with it because of how I'm gonna give it to you.
Why? I'll tell you mine. I'll tell you mine.
Go ahead.
Mine's Metatron.
You really be fucking with it. Like you really fucking with it.
Yeah,
Like
I
you ain't bullshit.
literally like every no, like every sound bath. Like that's who I use for a protection. Every sound bath. I do sound baths once a week. And I put myself in the I can never pronounce this word right, but I put myself in the Merkaba. Is it Merkaba or
Man, you
Merkaba?
know. You for sure
Yeah.
know.
Bro, I'm telling you.
Hey,
I'm in the trenches.
like for real.
Yeah. No, he's the best. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I'm blown away.
This is like a normal conversation I have with like all of my friends. Like this is what we talk about.
No, me and my friends, they ain't finna come down this far. They don't. Nah. So I was gonna say Metatron too. I ain't gonna lie to you, but I
Mm.
usually don't use the Christian deities. I don't use the Christian deities
Mm.
because I grew up in the church from birth to 17. I was in church every day, Wednesday
Mhm.
and Sunday. My mother is a
Mhm.
damn pastor now. You feel what I'm saying? And I
Oh
went to
wow.
Pastor
Yeah.
Newman, and we still had to go to church.
I know. Tuesday and Thursday every morning. Yep.
And then we had to take Old Testament and New Testament.
Like please, yes.
Like,
Yes.
I was like, man, I'm done.
No, Carson Newman was wild. You know what's funny though? So I was a biochemistry major and a lot of my professors were actually atheists.
It's funny how that works, right?
No, it's like I'm pretty sure that's the reason why they send you to like a Baptist college so that you can be atheist afterwards.
But
Okay.
looking at the grand scheme of things, it don't really matter. Like, it don't really matter.
Right.
Like, what
And the
matters is
funniest thing too is like all of these people would have like labeled different things, and it's literally all the same thing.
all the same thing.
All the same thing.
It don't even matter if you
Yeah.
put them in
We have
numbers.
way more in common. Way more in common than differences. Way more.
But
But what do we know? What do we know? We're just educated.
yeah, we got both sides of it. It don't even matter.
Yeah, like, and that's the thing, like, it's like we've seen so many different sides of the veil or whatever, and it's like
Mm.
all the same thing. It's all the same thing.
Like you even know the jargon. Like you really there.
Telling you.
And then you ain't know you. Are you? I'm sorry. Are you a daughter of the Eastern Star?
I don't know. Should I be?
You ain't. It's all good. Yeah, you got this off the muscle. Like, yeah,
Okay.
I thought you were part of a secret society or something.
No, no,
Yeah.
no.
So you just really
Wait,
off
should I
the
be?
muscle. Nah, like I
Wait,
mean,
do I need to be in a secret society? Because I would join. I'm thinking about going to the Church of Scientology just to see what it's about. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I don't blame you, but nah. If you want to go to church, if you want to go do that, then you might as well join one of the orders for real. Or go ahead and get some real science. but it take them too long to teach. It take them too long to teach you. Like I want you went
Yeah,
over there.
no, I'd rather just get my information straight from the source, I ain't gonna lie to you.
Me too.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Me too.
Okay, we really went off on a tangent, but I'm very happy about it. This was really good. And that's how like that's why like whenever I did have the reading with you and you tapped into my writing too and like I had not even like really told anyone about it at that time either. And that was
Mm,
like literally like the beginning of my first manuscript.
uh, first off, it
So,
wasn't me.
yeah.
First off, like I don't want to get that
Yeah.
twisted. It wasn't even me. It's the ancestors. It's I
Mhm.
just read it.
Wait, what part of Georgia are you from? We probably have some of the same ancestors.
This is what I'm trying to tell you when you say you talking about Oglethorpe, Georgia. You talking about Oglethorpe, Georgia, that's
Mhm.
near Sylvester, Georgia? Or you talking
Near
about
what?
that Georgia? Sylvester, Georgia? The Oglethorpe, Georgia, that's near Sylvester, Georgia?
Yeah. Like
Yes.
red clay, pecans,
I grew up.
one church.
Yeah. I grew up picking pecan for white folks. I grew up,
Mm.
in the
Mhm.
watermelon field and shit like that. Like I'm from
I
deep.
can't it's crazy. Whenever you go back, do you not feel this, like, weird sense of, like, heaviness?
I never thought about
Like,
it.
if I so I have a lot of my relatives have been passing because 'cause they're, older, and so I went back for a funeral, like, a year and a half ago. And as soon as we, like, turned off of the road from Macon, like, the main road, we go back onto, like, the little back road, and I started literally hyperventilating, like, I didn't feel like I could breathe anymore.
What?
Like, the energy was so heavy, I couldn't even, like, stay and eat, like, I had to go.
What? I know what road you talking
Like, it
about. That's
was
the road I gotta tell you about to go back. And it's crazy that you
Yes.
say that. It's crazy. I see it as stagnation. That's all I see it as. But for you to be channeled like you are, for you to say that, it's
Yeah.
like I can see.
It's like and like you're driving through and you see the trees and you see the cotton and you see the fields and you see all this like that. And it's like, it feels like the road is like 15 million miles long and it's really not that long, but it just feels like in every like second just feels so much heavier. And it's just like, it's
Wow.
too much. No, and you know what I'm talking about? And there's like that one random McDonald's on the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's too much.
Yeah. I gotta take that. Like when I go back home, I take what it is, 285 to 75, and I go through Macon. I take 16,
Hmm.
get off on exit 13, the same exit that you talking about, to go back home.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I grew up like passing by a cotton field all the time. My great grandmother
Hmm.
used to talk shit about how she was the best cotton picker. Like,
Mm. And it's
so
so
just
funny, like, a lot not funny, but people think we're so far removed, and we are literally one generation.
real shit,
It's insane. It's
real shit.
insane, and, like, everyone's like, "Oh, get over it, get it." No, like, no, I'm not gonna get over it, not when my grandparents grew up there.
I got some shit I want to talk to you about after this, about that. I found out some new information.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
I'm here for it. Alright, so I do like to close asking
Are we
everyone
closing?
if you are comfortable. We can't? Do you not wanna close?
Are we cool? We can do it. I feel like we just got started.
I mean, we could keep talking if you this was the end of my run sheet.
I didn't even tell that we was on the doggone sheet. I ain't know.
Okay, so then let's keep going. What, What are you manifesting right now?
That's all right, so real quick. And from the period of COVID, whenever COVID came in to the end of COVID, right? We've been in a quote unquote warlock state. Warlock is not a person. Warlock is a position. So what was going on was is more people that's doing these magical rites other than just us. You dig what I'm saying?
Mm.
So
Mhm.
at one point in time, right, when anybody was attempting to do any type of manifestation in this warlike state, whatever they were manifesting, right, was coming back in reverse. During that particular time,
Interesting.
during that particular time there was a suspension in doing rituals or manifesting in itself. Because when you manifest, it really breeds an infestation on a particular level. You dig what I'm saying? To go deeper in that,
Mhm.
the only thing that's real, right? The only thing that's true lasts forever. So a lot of this material manifestation that we that we create doesn't last forever. It builds a certain
Mm.
influence on another particular level. So, and I had stopped doing certain particular manifestations just in itself, and I started more so having to do rituals on like a simple level. Say if my children get sick or however, me using those
Mm.
powers in order to bring them back into like health or
Mhm.
however. And so I might do other things for other people, but for the main part is just for me to continue to manifest whatever the fuck I'm doing or however the business thing is being done. I don't really do business in the conventional way. Again, with us moving from that three-dimensional plane and we move from the fourth dimensional plane to the fifth dimensional plane, the business
Mhm.
plan is different now. And if I
Mhm.
am able to just have my wants and have my needs met, that's a certain level of
Mhm.
abundance. So I don't ever really look at it
Right.
as it being business because my purpose here in this existence is to be a healer. And one of my past
Right.
life was I was a very snobbish king. I stepped on people. I shitted on people.
Mm.
You dig what I'm saying?
Mm.
And in
Okay.
this lifetime, it's about me contributing back to what we call humanity in a sense.
Yeah.
So I know
And
I really
I feel like we are all kind of shifting into that too, especially I do, follow astrology as well, and I feel like with us shifting into Pluto and Aquarius, we are getting back to like the consciousness mindset and we are getting back into helping the collective and helping the greater good. I was in Atlantis when it sank due to the issues there. And so like I feel like in this time I am here to help in a positive way and not in a destructive way. Whereas
mm,
before I was involved in the destruction.
hmm hmm
So like
that
I'm
we are
especially
so
like with like
opposite.
my what you said what? You feel like we're
We
the
so
opposite?
opposite. We on time. We on the same time, but we had a different spectrum. Everything on
Mm.
the spectrum. It's like
Mhm.
I feel where you coming from with the positivity, but shit, I'm for the
Mhm.
destruction this time.
It reminds me of Black Panther.
How so?
Wait, what was the Michael B. Jordan's character's name?
I don't
I feel
know.
like that's
Killmonger?
you right now. Yeah, I feel like that's you right now, and then I'm
Wow.
what's his name? Chadwick.
Come on. Wow. That's really on time.
I love that movie. R.I.P.
That's
Chadwick.
really on time, man.
But you know what though, honestly, in order for the world to be at a perfect state, we have to have a balance of both. You can't
Right,
have too much of one and not enough of the other. Like you have to have the yin and the yang. You have to have a full balance of like the scales have to balance.
right, right. In this particular round, since we're in the physical round deals with duality. And that's what I was talking earlier
Mhm.
for like it being no evil or it being no good. In essence, it's
Right.
just duality. In the
Mhm.
spiritual realm, we won. When they talk about it in the Bible, like what they say that Lucifer fell from heaven, he took a third of his angels with him. Well, that's
Mhm.
the fall of the physical, from coming from spiritual realm into the physical
Mhm.
realm. And because of that, now you got to have male, female. Now because of that, you got hot, cold.
Mm.
You feel what I'm saying?
Mm.
With me understanding
Mhm.
that, like with me understanding that, I'm on that destructive shit because of God, generator, operator, destroyer. You feel what I'm saying? Like Shiva,
Ooh, I love that. Yeah.
Shiva destroys things, but in destruction you find creation. You do what I'm saying? But also,
Yes, 100%.
I'm standing in that because what stop a lot of people from stepping into their godhood or their godhead is their morals. God don't think like a human. You know what I'm saying? God don't deal with good or bad. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Godzilla don't give a
Mhm.
fuck about what you acting with. He ain't thinking about that shit.
Mhm.
We got to stop thinking like humans if you want to ascend to become greater than humanity. So that's why
Right.
I talk that shit like that.
No, I love that. And I also feel like I know I talk a lot about this just in my daily sorry, I have to take my earrings out, they're hurting. In my like daily life, we are not separate from God either. And I think that especially like in religion, there became this like subservient something. I don't know if it was like a control mechanism or what the issue was, but we're not, we are literally God experiencing itself. And it's so difficult to have conversations sometimes with people who are just like, "Oh, that's blasphemous. You can't say that." And I'm just like, "Okay, whatever. Don't listen to me. I don't care." I just like don't even feel like wasting my breath half the time, but like I know that like I'm here to keep having these conversations and like to keep pushing this boundary and to like break the norm, if you will. And it's just it can be a little challenging, but we are making it.
The work that you're doing obviously working. It's obviously working
Mm,
because, like you said earlier, Pluto being in Aquarius, you see like a lot more people are woke. A lot. I don't want to use the word
yeah.
woke. How they doing it,
Yeah.
but a lot more people becoming more conscious of aware of the spiritual realm.
Mm.
Even with the election, which I know it hurt a lot of folks' feelings. However, but it began.
I know it hurt.
I know it hurt a lot of folks' feelings. I know it did. It did.
I know it. I know it did. I know it did.
But if you step outside of the realms of good and bad, and we look at it for what it
Mhm.
is, then we begin to see the spiritual nature that's into this. You know,
Mm.
I'm going to take a little segue, but that's why again I don't really fault with evil or the ideal of evil because everything that's done it starts from this physical world, then it manifests in the physical. When the spiritual realm doesn't do no wrong or it doesn't do no right, you dig what I'm saying?
Mm. Mhm. That's a word.
A lot of time, what we perceive as evil or demons or entities or mortal or what they call it, interdimensional beings, and their power is so great that they come
Mhm.
off as if they're evil, but they're more so primal.
Mm.
They're so powerful,
Ooh, okay.
actually can't understand it. So we represented it as it being bad or evil, but really it's
Mhm.
ancient. It's ancient being.
I love that. Yeah. No, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. This is some good chats right now, honestly.
So,
I don't really get to go deep with a lot of people.
well, for real, Be- I wanna
Yeah.
break down another thing too for people
Okay.
that's gonna catch this. I'm gonna go from psychology into spirituality, and I'm gonna deal with the ideal of demons. I know a lot of folks
Okay.
talk about demons, but they talk about the devil. But
Mhm.
check it out. Demon is the same word as daemon. That's what the word that we use in psychology. Daemon means the hidden self, right? Which we get the word amen or amen, which is the hidden God. A lot of times when we talk about demons, we talking about our double or we talking about our shadow self.
Mm.
You dig what I'm saying? So
So is this like shadow work? Like whenever you like go deep within yourself and you like do your shadow work, is this what you're referencing? Okay.
your shadow self is the part of your personality in which we tend to reject. You see what I'm saying? So check it out. Check
Yep.
it out now. Like this shit ain't got to do nothing with morals, right? So
Mhm.
so you could your shadow self could harness a whole lot of sexual energy and you could be deny yourself that energy because you don't want to look like a hoe. But the whole time,
Mm.
the prostitute is a god.
Mm.
Is the goddess Ishtar. You dig
Mhm.
what I'm saying? Like the ways in which
Mhm.
we reject ourselves. The whole purpose is at this particular time now is to deify your flaws. Take your demons and make them divine. Fuck your morals.
Period.
Live out your soul's desires. Because if you don't clear out your desires in this physical lifetime, you will return back to fulfill those same desires.
Again, yep, you'll keep
Right?
repeating that cycle until it's complete. Yep.
Come
Yep.
on. You got to live out your
Yeah. Yeah,
desires.
no,
You
I'm
got to work out your shadow self.
telling you. I'm telling you. One thing I'm not going to do is keep repeating the same things. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I did not come here for that. No, we're going to press play. We're going to keep playing. We're not going to repeat.
Come on. So
No,
yeah,
absolutely not.
that's what time we allow your shadow self to be and accept your flaws and have
Mhm.
grace to your shadow. Like It's okay to live on your impulses.
Mm.
A therapist is saying this now. Real talk, because a lot of time it's the intuition that we working off of that's higher than the logic. But a lot of time we will go against our impulse or our intuition, and we'll listen to our conscious self, which will be the personality, the part of the personality. You feel what I'm saying? That personality is gonna
Mhm.
want to stay there and want to keep you there, right? It's your morals is what bounds you. You become God.
That's a phrase. That's a hit. I love that. I love that. It's true. Like, there's a reason I say this all the time, like, with my clients, there's a reason that you have the feeling that you have. There's a reason why you have the desires that you have. Like, you have that because you're supposed to have that.
Come
It's
on,
not something like I kept having a desire to write and I kept being told to write, for example. Like, there's a reason I had that. It's because it
right,
needed to happen. Like,
right,
regardless of what it is, if you're having like an urge to do something, you are meant to do that thing, like, regardless of what it is.
right then and right
I
there.
mean but, like, I'm not saying go kill somebody, you know what I mean? Like, Ted Bundy was probably like, "Well, I had an urge." Okay, let's not be dramatic about it, but
Right. But it's what come across your conscious mind then and right there. It doesn't make any sense. Or some folk might
Mhm.
say they listening to your gut. I'm gonna say it
Yeah. Yeah.
like this. It's like whatever your soul tells you at this particular time, right? We know that the medicine that they give us doesn't help us does not heal us. But
Mm.
I gotta believe, right? I don't drink sodas, but I gotta believe if I drink Dr. Pepper, it gonna heal me. And when I drink Dr. Pepper, guess what? That
Mhm.
shit heal me.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's the soul knows what it wants. You might be sick because you're not giving the soul what it wants.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying?
That yeah. Yeah.
When women get pregnant, they have these urges or these cravings for certain foods. Come to
Mhm.
find out now, science has told us that when a woman craves certain food, that means the baby is missing something that they need, some type of vitamin deficiency. You dig what I'm saying?
Interesting. Yeah, interesting. Okay.
So it's showing us how the soul works.
Yeah.
You may goddamn need to go suck that goddamn dick. You know what I'm talking about? You might need to eat that motherfucking donut. Because at this particular time, like they've been talking about the Mandela effect, but it's really the butterfly effect. And you can make one different decision or one change of word, and it can change the whole time.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. Yes, it can. Yes, it can. That's
Sure.
my favorite thing to do though, by the way, jump
What?
timelines.
Man,
Sometimes
tell
when
me
I'm
about
bored, I just
that.
start
Talk that, please. Talk that. Let me know because
sometimes when I'm bored, like, if I'm bored, like, on a certain timeline, like, I will just be like, you know what? I have a certain meditation that I will do that allows me to transport myself from one to another. I
how
do it, through the Akashic Records. So the Akashic Records work on the 5D. So anytime I enter a reading or anytime I enter it for myself, I we use a lot of visualizations, and so I'll visualize myself going up to the 5D, and then I'll do it there.
come on, man. That's hypnosis. That's Reiki right now. You already
Mhm.
you you doing the same thing that I'm doing. We doing the same
Yeah.
thing.
It's all the same stuff, just different names and different, like, modalities and techniques. It's literally all the same.
So please, I know I heard you say what you just said, but give me the game of how to jump timelines once again.
Okay. So, I'm gonna give away some secrets. Essentially, like, what I will do, I have a grounding so every session, even if it's for myself, I'm very structural, and that's the easiest way for me to do things. So, I have a structure. I will do a grounding, then I will call in the light, and I'll fill my body up with light. And it's so funny. So I'll do this during a sound bath too. And my sound bath instructor, she literally can see my body, like see I didn't tell her what I was doing. She had no idea. She would just see the light start pouring out of the bowls during her sound bath. She would be like, okay, I just let you work. I just leave you alone. I thought she didn't tell me until like a couple of months afterwards too, which I thought was really interesting. So I'll fill myself with light. And then I do, like a protection, like a rainbow shield of protection just in case. Because once you enter these realms, you really never know what you're gonna encounter sometimes. And so then I'll take a golden elevator from the 3D up to the 5D. And then when I enter the 5D, I type my name into this keyboard and then it displays my name. And then I say, am I in the Akashic records of whoever? Yes or no. And I use a pendulum. It says yes or no. And then I got to start over. So, and then when I'm in there, if I am switching timelines, I will kind of trans myself, if you will, and I will ask to be shown the highest timeline or asked to be shown like a pathway of timelines. So ahead of
Okay.
me, there'll be so like ahead of me, there'll be however many hundreds, thousands, whatever of timelines just spread amongst. And each of them like will display like a full like scene, like it's like a little like a movie screen almost. And each of them is always a different color. And that's how like I'll know like if there's an orange one, for example, like, oh, okay, I'll go to orange today. And then I'll click on orange and it'll be something playing on the screen. And then I'll be like,
Mm,
okay, well, fast forward and then I'll see like ahead of time and I'm like, I think I want that one. And then I'll reverse and I'll go down and then go to
uh,
another one. Yeah. So, and then whenever I land on whichever one, I'm just like, okay, let me ride this out for a second.
wow.
Hmm.
I appreciate
I
that.
do it often.
You gave me a lot of game. I
Yeah, I
appreciate
do
that.
it a lot. I do it heavily when I'm bored. I'm not bored right now because whatever I did, I don't know, remember even which one this is, but this is a busy one. We work on this one.
The highest path, you said all of them are
Hmm.
have they different colors, but you asked for
Hmm.
the highest path.
Hmm.
And like so when you do this, what type of effect do you have in your waking life?
It depends. So if I do a drastic jump, which oftentimes I can, you do notice like people fall away, or you do notice like when I started jumping is when I was going through all of my massive spiritual changes. I was going through some massive like physical health changes. I am currently on my healthiest timeline. I have not had a single health issue, and I used to struggle with that in my past.
Wait, hold
And
on,
like
what? Hold on, hold on. That just fucked me up. Keep going.
and so and I repeated that to myself too, like put me on my healthiest timeline because I was, I had been we all know my fertility stuff. We all know like I had a mini stroke and I had some other issues. And so now I have like no health problems. It's amazing. And so I asked for my healthiest and my wealthiest and I asked for the path of my highest and best good for the collective,
Mm,
which is when I started writing, which is when I started doing my podcast in this way and not just like a gossipy podcast. And
mm,
so this is when like my major career shift happened. I moved from Nashville to Knoxville. I'm still going back and forth, but I'm primarily in Knoxville doing a lot of this work. And yeah, it's been very busy, very hectic, but very like rewarding.
mm-hmm.
And my work is reaching people that I never in my wildest dreams would have imagined that it reached. So, I mean, I'm going on a freaking book tour for crying out loud. You know
Oh
what I mean? Like
man,
this is
big ups to that. Like big ups. Congratulations.
thank you. Thank you. I'm really looking forward. Oh, you have to come to my book launch. I'm having it March 22nd.
March 22nd. All right, I'm gonna put that down.
My book is coming out on the spring equinox. And I'm also very much like Kendrick Lamar where I'm fueled by um spite and hatred. And so my book is coming out on my ex-husband's birthday.
That's petty. Bro, I'm going back to the equinox part. We're going back to that.
Like don't tell me I can't do something again.
That's how we alike.
Yeah.
That's how we alike.
Yeah.
Tell me I can't do some
I'm
shit.
telling you.
All right.
Right, bet. Say less. Mhm.
Oh man, who? How? I wouldn't even know. Like back in college, that you was on this type of tip, or you would be on this type of tip. Like you feel what I'm saying? Like I
Mm.
never would have had even
The
known.
character development has been top tier. I'm not gonna lie to you. Whatever happened this past year, this has been the wildest character development year for me. Like wildest.
And I'm glad you brought
I
that
got
up.
people calling me. I got people calling me a guru, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, what? Thank you. Thank you so much.
No, I don't get into that guru talk. Don't call me no guru, like because shit. Nah, I'm gonna be real with you, shit.
Like,
I
exactly. So listen to me. I'm just kidding.
nah. Don't follow me. You feel what I'm saying? Don't follow me. I'm that type. Like shit, I was just barely, I was sleeping on the floor type shit. Don't follow me. Like, yeah,
Mm,
you know what I'm talking about? Like, I'm not here to be your pastor. I'm not here to be your leader. I ain't none of that.
that part.
I ain't nobody guru. You see what I'm saying? I'm still a student of it myself.
See,
And
and that's the best part though, is like the learning never ends. Like the learning never ends. Like it shouldn't. I'll rephrase. The learning shouldn't end. Because when
right,
you're done learning, what's the point?
right. That's why I can relate to you when you say that your gift is one of your purposes is to continue to spread this. Because once people find
Mm,
themselves in this one area of knowledge, they become stagnant. Like the people that's in Pan
mm-hmm,
Africanism, the people that might just be Islamic, or I'm talking about the black Muslims. That's what I'm talking about. The
mm-hmm,
people that might be into more science, or you may be into degrees of the Freemasons, or however, even Scientology. I feel like you said, you got
mm,
to keep adding. You got to keep
mm-hmm.
growing. Because once you find yourself stagnant into this one
No, no.
confined
It's a
state,
wrap. It's
yeah,
over with. Yeah, no, no. Stagnancy is like the idea of being stagnant like stresses me out so bad. I literally started like 6 businesses this year. Like I couldn't, like I can't do it. Like I don't know how to sit still, I guess. But
yeah,
also, so what I'm manifesting is my first $1 million. The first
mm,
million they say is the hardest. After that, it's nothing. And I don't have kids of my own. I'm not married currently. And so like I'm not even doing it for me. I'm doing it for my family, which I feel like is what's driving me more than anything else.
mm,
Like so that, my nieces and my nephews and my cousins and like no one has to work or like worry or like I can retire my mom, like and it's like these are the things, like these are the reasons why I wake up at 5 and write for 3 hours before I go to a job and then come home and write some more and record my podcast and like get 3 hours of sleep. Like these are the
mm,
reasons why I'm going so hard. And I
mm,
think that's why it turned more from like selfishness to selflessness. And I think
mm,
that's when I started attracting and like magnetizing more opportunities and all of these positive things because I was no longer doing it for me. I was doing
mm,
it for everyone else. Like, and I feel like
mm.
especially like if you are trying to like bring in abundance or bring in something else, like, yeah, it's cute and like it's fun to do it for yourself, but like if you're not doing it for someone else, you're not going to get as much.
I can fuck with that, but mine has been on the contrary. I've been noticing more that
Mm,
I have been pouring into myself, the more abundance I have been able to provide for other individuals.
right. Oh, I still pour into myself. Like you got to, you have to. You have to. If you're empty, you can't pour into other people.
That's talk that shit again, man.
Like
How
you
can
can't.
you pour from an empty cup?
You can't. It's
I gotta be
impossible.
overflowing in abundance before I can give to you.
Percent. Trust me, I'm still buying myself nice things. Like you see those earrings I just took off. Like we still buy ourselves some nice things. You know what I mean? But it's not just for me anymore.
You gotta have a reason to manifest. Like real talk.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have the emotion behind what you want to manifest, it'll never manifest. So a lot of times
100%.
people having purpose, people having reason gives them that motivation to do just
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah. Like I literally am. So I have my first book written. We're in final editing. And then my second manuscript is halfway done. This is part of a 3-part series. And
Hmm.
then after that, I'm doing a fictional series that I am turning into either a limited series or a movie. And I already have my connections with the service that I'm using for that.
What?
So,
I would
no,
love
like this
to.
is
I'm
you
sorry.
what?
I would love to be able to tap in with you with the book publishing and that information. I would love to be able to get that from you, like just
Yeah,
on off
absolutely.
time, chop it up or
Yeah,
however,
absolutely.
because you got some.
So my editor, she's great. She doesn't this is another thing. When I tell you everything always works out for me, she is a former patient of mine and
Mhm.
charging me literally half of her hourly rate, and she is
Mm.
maxing me out at 10 hours instead of however long it's actually taking her. I'm telling
That's
you.
why. Say that again. Say that
I'm
again. Would
telling
you
you.
believe it? Everything
Huh?
works out for me.
Everything always works out for me.
Everything always
Period.
works out for me.
Everything always works out for me, and I always get what I want. And not only do I always get what I want, I always get what I want when I want it because that is the moment that I have it in my future life, which is now.
What's the significance of that last part?
The future is now because we are simultaneously living in the past, present, and future. And the moment you have I talk about I actually think I have a full chapter of this in book 1. The moment we have a desire is the moment that our future self receives it, especially if it's something like super rain like, all of a sudden, I started, like, wanting a Porsche Cayenne. I never in my life wanted a Porsche Cayenne. Now all of a sudden, I started wanting a Porsche Cayenne. Like, "Okay, now I gotta go get a Porsche Cayenne."
Come
Like,
on.
"Okay."
I just got finished talking about it earlier. So you been working.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's my life.
when you have the desire, your future self
Mhm.
has just received it. Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Especially and it's you can always tell too when it's, like, the most random thing that just, like, comes out of nowhere. Just like,
Wow.
"Okay, that's interesting." Like, "Alright, let's go get it."
So in that moment, would you say that time lines up? Like once you receive it in the physical, you have literally
Mm.
manifested in the jump?
You can you can I wouldn't say maybe fully timeline jumping, but maybe fast forwarding. Because if
Mm.
I'm on the because usually I'm on the same if I'm jumping timelines, my desires change. So if I'm still desiring that one thing, you know what I mean?
What?
That doesn't
That's
happen to you?
that's hard. I ain't never think about it in that aspect, not like that. That's
Mhm.
hard.
Mhm. Like, and especially, like, with, like I've noticed it a lot more with, like, careers. Like, if I'm on one timeline or even, like, a relationship, like, if I'm on one timeline and then, like, I jump because 'cause I'm bored, I'll just be like, "Okay, so I guess we're doing this now, and I guess I'm with that person now? Okay, that's fine. We like it here."
Wow, I seen a movie that was like that. I can't remember the name of the movie, but wow.
Ooh. Let me know when you think about it.
I ain't gonna be able to think about it because it was in a different country. I was just watching it on some whatever. But but going back to what you were saying, wow. I can't. It's normally it's easy for me to process things. Each timeline you jump, the desires change.
Mhm.
Then
Because
you
you
just
have
go
something
along with the
different on
flow.
each one. No, I just flow. Like, I love being on the path of least resistance. I love flowing. I refuse to be in resistance to anything because, first of all, I'm not working that hard. Second of all, if it's not flowing, it's got to go. Like, and
Mm,
that's just, it's so much easier. It is so much easier to just
mm,
lay in the river and just go with it. Like, it's so much easier. It's way less stress. You're so much calmer. You're more peaceful. Life is so much better when you're literally just flowing with it instead of trying to go against it. Like, and if you feel like you're having resistance, you're not supposed to be there.
Tell that to your people once again. I don't think they heard you.
I don't even remember what I said. If you're noticing resistance, you're not supposed to be there. Move. Move along. Go somewhere
Now,
else. Do
but
something else.
how do you quantify that as far as relationships? Does it still calculate the same
Like,
way?
as far as relationships, yes. Like, you know when you're not in a relationship that you're supposed to be. Like, you know. I knew good and well I was not supposed to be with my ex-husband. I know good and well I was not supposed to. And look how
Mm.
wonderful my life is now.
Hey, what about to the person that's sitting in their job that's thinking to themselves,
I don't care. You'll figure it out. Everything always works out for you because you said so. Figure it out. Like,
all right,
I will quit a job in a heartbeat. I will literally, like, leave. Like, they're lucky I even show up for real. Like, quit.
let me think about another human situation that might apply to.
I'm also not really a good person to take advice from because, I mean, unless you want to, I live in a some would call it a delusion, but my delusion is my reality. And
Come on,
once you start becoming delusional, your
come on,
delusions will also become your reality.
Come on.
So get rid
Yourself
of
and
the circumstances. Get rid of the, oh, I can't do this or I can't have stop. You can literally have whatever you want. It's and I have a line about this in book 1 as well. The universe is not restrictive for who can have what. The abundance is there. Like, what do you want to do with it? It's already been made. It's already there. It's not having to be recreated.
I gotta go on. Go ahead, leave. I don't want
Wow, what a powerful conversation with Zeke. He had some technical difficulties. Even though we're millennials, we're kind of boomers. And so he had to hop off. But yeah, he'll be on later on again in this season. It was really, really nice having those deep conversations and like really going there and talking like different types of spirituality and all the work and stuff that we do. I will link in the show notes how to reach him if you are interested in a Reiki session or a hypno session. Feel free to reach out to him. He does do it virtually as well, so you do not have to be in Georgia to receive that. Thank you all so much for being here. Bye.